This last week, I've been pondering how sometimes when you do absolutely everything you possibly can and things still don't work out, how the resistance to this reality is actually what causes you stress. And this is what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you try, things don't work out as you'd hoped. For me, I've actually just recently moved. Hopefully now this will be our home for the next at least couple of years. And in preparation for the move, I called our service provider, internet service provider, and phone and TV and everything, a month before we were due to move to ensure that there was a smooth changeover. However, instead of there being a smooth changeover with a limited time to like 1 or 2 down days when we wouldn't have internet, they cut me off virtually exactly when I placed the order because they'd made a mistake and they'd got September instead of October. So they weren't then able to change that, so that meant we were cut off for at least a week before they could replace the order. After all of that, I called them, I chased them, I made sure that the order was placed again, and when we finally moved, I called to find out what had happened and were they connecting us and what was going on, only to be told that they didn't have an order on the system and we were going to have no internet for the next 2 weeks because of whatever reasons. Now, I had two options. I could jump and scream and shout and get really irritated and tense and wound up because things weren't working the way that I wanted them, which in the end would only cause me stress. I really don't think that that massive corporation cares one iota as to why, how my life is going. It would be nice if they did. I might still be with them if they did. But anyway, so be it. The other option is to accept the way that things are, because fighting what is will cause me an immense amount of stress. And it doesn't help the situation at all. It doesn't get me anywhere. And this is what I've been thinking and contemplating. And what I've decided to do, actually, in hindsight of all of this, I took a few quiet moments and just sort of sat and thought, okay, I now have 2 weeks. There's no way, I could buy this and get that and whatever else. But I almost see it as an opportunity. For the next 2 weeks, I have chosen to immerse myself in creativity. Do things that I always am too busy to be, to find the time to do. So I'm going to paint, I'm going to write, I'm going to do all these things that I don't normally find time for. And this is, I suppose, what I'm trying to tell you, is sometimes life gives you a gift. It's not dressed with a lovely little bow, it's not presented in a way that you can see it as a gift. It's presented sometimes in something going wrong, but there's always a silver lining. And that isn't just what I'm talking about today. I also want to talk about fighting reality, and that when you fight reality, you lose only 100% of the time, as wonderful Byron Katie says. And what is reality? You see, we've come from a world where we think our thoughts and our emotions are reality, and they're not. We fight with what we believe should be happening and what we think must be, and it couldn't possibly be this way. Well, it is this way. Despite all of my efforts, this is what has happened. And no amount of thinking it shouldn't be like this is going to change it. And it's when you fight that reality that you end up having a lot of stress in your life. And it's not just related to like being let down by an agreement or something like that. It can be in relationships as well. You think that your wife or your husband should behave like this. You think your boss should respect you and should appreciate you. And it's the resistance to the reality that causes you the most hurt. When you accept that reality and you say, okay, so this is the way it's going to be, how do I choose to react? And then you act and react in a positive way, that's how things change. So for me in this situation, I've looked at the reality. I don't have any internet for the next 2 weeks. I can sit there, I can get irritated, I can stress and huff and puff, or I can just go, okay, so what am I going to do with this wonderful time that I have? One causes a lot of stress and pain, the other one actually joy and excitement. So I challenge you to have a look at your life this week and to see where you think things should be different and to accept them the way they are and to make positive choices in relation to that. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week, and I will see you next week. Lots of love. Bye-bye.